NSTC, Rajesh Agrawal, Joint Secretary, my friend Deepak, Mr. Luther, distinguished guests. Yesterday I was there throughout the day, generally discussing the budget, and I was on the television. And as usual, you find a lot of crazy questions coming out when there are people on the panel. And one of the most favorite questions, which is politically driven, is where is the employment? Well, in the first year of my job as a minister, I would always wonder where is the job. But gradually in 2 years, I have realized that there are a lot of jobs. It's simply that we do not have the product for the jobs. And yesterday I also had a clarity on one issue, which possibly needs, well, we work as politicians with the bureaucracy, and I'm saddled now with 2 bureaucrats to the right and 2 bureaucrats to the left.
You're including me?
Yes, you have been a bureaucrat. They are the most difficult people. They will never accept anything which comes out of the system. A politician talking to them, making sense, it doesn't dawn on them at all, because how can they be better than us? Maybe majority they feel, because over the years they have been taught to make a politician feel good when he's in the chair. And that is all what they have to do, because then time passes, someone else comes, and they are there in the system for 35 years usually. We are not. We are there for 2 years, 3 years. And when I push them on certain things, and one very living example I can tell you, we have an organization called the National Sample Survey Organization ever since the country was created. And for the beginning, I used to say that India is very bad, the labor workforce is only 2.5%. But gradually when I got into the system, I said this is completely wrong. The workforce is not 2.5%. And then I started going into the details. This was not my work. There have been many more people in the system before me, and especially the bureaucracy. And when I saw how they capture the data for the workforce, it is completely 100% erroneous. 100% erroneous. India cannot have a workforce which is 2.5 force. Prima facie, on the face of it, looks wrong. So when I started looking into the ingredients, how they capture it, a tea planter, a worker working in the tea plantation is not treated as a labor workforce. A rubber tapper in Kerala is not treated as a workforce. And there were hundreds of categories of people who do not figure in that workforce. The figure is completely flawed. But all the academicians and the economists, right from the Niti Aayog, are using that figure to tell the world on planning things. And when I started working on it, I held a meeting at the level of the Secretary to Government of India and Program and Statistics. He was not ready to budge from the parameters which was being adopted. He was not ready to redefine the language, and till date I am struggling. He has just agreed, and his logic which he gave was, the format has been prepared, and if we tamper with this, the survey will be delayed, and now you are too late. This was the argument given to a minister in Government of India in presence of my Joint Secretary and presence of my Secretary. This is how the government works. When we talk about the workforce in this country and the job requirement, where are the jobs, the whole process, possibly I have not been there, I do not know there, but the process of capturing jobs by the Ministry of Labor, no bureaucrat has gone down to find out how the job aggregation is done. Where are the jobs? Millions of those boys who go and work in the construction sector as contract laborers, are they not getting a wage? Can't they be captured? Millions of those working as malis and landscapers all around Delhi, are they captured and the vacancies existing? There are millions of jobs. I'm not talking about white collar jobs who are sitting here in this audience. There could be, this is a competitive environment where there could be but as far as entry level jobs are concerned, there is a huge demand not only within the country but internationally. And we have not been able to stitch an ecosystem which takes care of it. Well, I thank the Prime Minister for creating this ministry in particular, because I am in almost every ministry now. And all my colleagues hate me because they find me getting into their jobs in almost every ministry, whether it's Ministry of External Affairs, whether it's Ministry of Health, whether it's the Ministry of... You talk of any ministry, heavy industries, if you talk of Ministry of Defense, I am there today. And in the beginning, when I started talking about that I want to get into these ministries, my ministry was called initially by the media men, the Ministry of MOUs. That was the only fastest way to get in touch with ministries. And they started calling me that this ministry only does MOUs, whether it is surface transport, or it is health, or it is Ministry of Defense. What does skilling have to do with Ministry of Defense? Did ever anyone think this? Do we have any role whatsoever in the Ministry of Defense? Today, the ecosystem which we have established, 60,000 retiring armed forces personnel between the age of 35 to 40 have been roped in, and the last 6 months of their career, the armed forces aggressively are putting them in 6 months capsule to put them at par with the civil system, where they can come out as entrepreneurs, trainers, or employment. It had never been thought. We are talking about training of trainers. We don't have trainers in this country. We are talking about the skill ecosystem. When you look at even Ministry of Health, with nursing being a legislative process, Medical Council of India, and so forth. Beyond that, there are 100 job roles which actually did not figure anywhere. And now under the Health Sector Skill Council, we have captured them, whether it's a general duty assistant, whether it is the dialysis assistant, whether it's a blood sample collector. They have no regulations, and there was no one looking at them. But one sector, and I can tell you, they feel upset about it. And I don't mind if anyone gets upset, because I'm not here for permanently. I could be there for. The sector skill councils are failing in one basic job, is identifying jobs, aggregating jobs, connecting for jobs. That they are thinking is not their business. That is the first business. The sector skill councils are absolutely denying that role, and 90% of the time they are spending in hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse and Coopers for making the QPs, which keep languishing for 8 months to 10 months to make a QP. And then they are only waiting for the time when they have to go for an assessment, and they are waiting for the time when they have to recognize a center. Now, unless and until this ecosystem between all of us starts working, we will not be able to deliver. This is not for you. This is for those 40 sector skill councils. 50% of them are defunct. They have become white-collared organizations. They have been given enough protection. And in the next 6 months, I am going to take a call whether NSDC likes it or not. The system, all those sector skill councils which are not performing, will wind them up or will merge them. I cannot take them for any long. There's enough jobs. There's enough work. But the prima facie activity which these organizations, which are supposed to be job aggregators, create QPs, do skilling, and that has to be in the private sector, are least bothered. The whole ecosystem was created for the industry to come forth and partner with the ministry and find the right partners. You see, I'm still very happy with a lot of training partners. They still make an effort. They still go out. They still work very hard. Some of them may not be. But the training partners and the training providers are doing a much better job than any of the facilitating agents in the ministry or in the organization. I feel so. But all these issues now, for last 2 years, the first time I went and signed an MOU, what business did I have to catch the ministers who are my seniors? To begin with, I catch hold of a minister and say, let's hold an MOU, these are the issues. So it's a top-driven everything. So I sign a MOU with the Minister of External Affairs, get beautiful photographs, the CEO of NSDC, the previous one, or I do not know. My ministry comes, and that is the beginning of what partnership is. And then we from the top keep on asking what happened, and it takes 2 years for me to finally come in contact with the Mr. Luther. You were not there earlier. Yeah. I know the whole story. You are not responsible for it.
I'm not trying to say that. All I'm saying is the invitation for this today came from Mr. Kant.
And I'm so happy to be here with you,
So, so you can just see how it works. I have been following it up. The minister gives me a call when she reviews that why that 10 crores which had to be picked up by NSDC for training has not been picked up. So I call up the secretary. I said, the minister is saying, so in the system, there in the Ministry of External Affairs, I know why he could not reach me. I know the reason. You don't have to mention because we have shared that. It is very difficult. And I talked to the secretary, I talked to Rajesh. Rajesh then activates it, gets that 10 crore in our account. It's a very small account. But the Minister of External Affairs says, you are not interested. Now, I as a minister have to hear it. Because we have not actually activated and if I had not done that MOU and had left, now tomorrow if I'm going to sign an MOU with Ministry of Surface Transport, with the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development. I want to harness all those sports infrastructure across the country to develop skilling. You see, we are trying to push it, but the stakeholders have become very, very relaxed. They think, and we have to face a barrage of questions on the television. Where are the jobs? I can tell you in Uttar Pradesh, we held the Kaushal Melas. Very first time we piloted it. There was a footfall of 110,000 youngsters. And we could actually give employment letters to about 26,000 youngsters. We could do it. And so I can tell you the aggregation. I'm very happy with my ministry, which keeps pushing in everywhere. This MOU, which today I have heard, what is the minister to do when I have just asked him to give me all the papers which he had on my table. I have picked his visiting cards. I have put his mobile number in my phone. I have sent him an SMS. I am looking in each ministry, everyone whom I find good enough with whom I can carry on. I'm looking for, but this is a huge exercise. This should have happened in this country 50 years ago, which I'm doing. This is not my job. As a minister, it's not my job. But I can say with pride, if 100 files, if 1,000 files exist in the Ministry of Skill Development, 950 would have been initiated by Rajiv Pratap Rudy. I am writing everywhere. I'm doing that. Most of them could be innocuous. Most of them could be insensible. But my question is, if out of 950 items, even if 200 items make sense and you can follow it up, we would have delivered all those which has been pending. I'm very happy. We have an anxious young man called Mr. Kant. He keeps doing it. He's been struggling for last 2 decades. We finally succeeded. And all the problems he had was not with the minister, but with NSDC when he wanted this thing. I also had to struggle with NSDC and the whole ecosystem to see that his sector skill council exists. But he succeeded. I must congratulate him. He has a passion, and he wants to. But integrating between the immigration authority, the chief here, if we can link to see that every passport which has an ECR is not issued for such people or whatever mechanism unless until they are NSQF aligned, it will start taking care of it. We just have to just put this small thing that no recruiting agent can pick up a person unless until it is NSQF certified. The moment you put this, and then on the other side, all the embassies and the countries across the world, they have to be told that all ambassadors have to ensure that all recruiting agents will have to ensure that they have an NSQF certified worker with them. This starts working immediately on a policy level. When the ECR check not required or ECR check required is seen by an immigration officer, when he's boarding the flight, anyone who is boarding the flight has to show a certificate whether you are NSQF certified or not. The moment you put this, but you have to put this on a legislative framework or an executive order or implementation process. And this, what I'm saying, we have discussed 2 years ago. But I do not know what would be the limitations of implementing it. Rajesh would know it. Manish has also been a bureaucrat. He would know it. Mr. Luther would know it. And the system would know it. But if this, in a way, is ensured, lot of riff-raff moving out. What did Mrs. Sushma Swaraj say? more than 6,000 young boys and girls are in the various jails of Middle East. And some even have been given imprisonment, life imprisonment, and some also have been asked for sentenced to death for simply because they did not know the rules of that country, they did not know the processes, they did not know the language. You don't teach anything to a rural girl, you just teach her English, courtesies, basics, groom her, give her a language course, and send her, she'll do a wonderful job. So there's a lot of possibility, and this conference, and I'm sure now, Mr. Kant, you have organized this. I'm aware you will do it in a big way. Let's stitch things to make it implementable. What we do is we discuss, but we do not come back with a pilot. 50, sir. We are talking about international skills centers. We have created international skills centers. Now let these international skills centers also have a component of domestic. एक तो ये नाम ही बड़ा खराब हो गया है, domestic help. कुछ बढ़िया नाम दे दिया. लाइफलाइन सर्विसेज, लाइफलाइन हेल्प, कुछ बढ़िया कर दीजिए ना. डोमेस्टिक हेल्प से अब अंग्रेजी में भी वो नीचे चला गया है. हाँ, अंग्रेजी में भी वो नीचे चला गया. मतलब डोमेस्टिक हेल्प का मतलब होता है कि बस अब तो उसको थोड़ा सा और रिडिफाइन कर दीजिए, सो दैट वी हैव अ बेटर वर्ड टू यूज. हम डोमेस्टिक हेल्प, पहले सर्वेंट था, सर्वेंट से अब डोमेस्टिक हेल्प पर चले आए. इससे बेहतर कुछ ढूंढ दीजिए ताकि वी मेक इट एस्पिरेशनल. तो जैसे मोची बिकम्स अ फुटवेयर डिजाइनर, तो दर्जी बिकम्स अ फैशन डिजाइनर. तो कुछ करते जाइए. ब्यूटिशियन बिकम्स अ हेयर ड्रेसर, बिकम्स अ फैशन ब्यूटिशियन. तो कुछ करते जाइए सो दैट बिकम्स एस्पिरेशनल. नहीं तो फिर थोड़ा सा वो रिजर्वेशन वहीं आ जाता है. बट दैट इज कॉस्मेटिक, दैट इज नॉट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट इज कॉस्मेटिक, वी कैन कीप डूइंग इट. आई वॉज इन दैट CRPF. Paramilitary forces have picked up skilling in a huge way. Can you believe what is skilling to do with the paramilitary forces? CRPF, BSF, ITBP. It all started from these MOUs and things like that. And they had that Safai Karmchari and many names, Dhobi. I said, how can you call him a Dhobi? And their tradesman is called a Dhobi or something very equivalent. I said, change these names. And now they are giving him a more fascinating name to all these people. So, Khansama or something like that. I said, chef, yaar. Call him a chef. Why you call him a Khansama? So, all these things are changing. So we have, at least we have started, all of us have started thinking about it. We are working on it. Nonetheless, it's just a beginning. And I can tell you my ministry is doing a wonderful job. And the buzzword is skilling today. And we have surpassed Make in India. We have surpassed any other theme, Digital India. They're all along with us, but we are #1 today. And we have to carry it forward. All our participants and most of the people who are working in this sector are not for money. I think there's a lot of philanthropism in that. And if that spirit would remain with us, I think we would be achieving much more than any other ministry. Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Good luck. And let's get it moving. Thank you.
Huge round of applause. May I now request Mr. Ajit Sinha, CEO of Governance Today, to kindly join us on stage, please. Dr. Praveen Saxena, kindly join us on stage, please. And Major General Manik Sabharwal, CEO, DWSSC, to join us on stage, please.
This is this entire program is organized by Governance Today. Ajit and Stuti also, please come. Stuti. And Dr. Praveen Saxena is a very dynamic person towards green in the skilling ecosystem. Green is an overarching thing. So Praveen is here. Thank you, Praveen. You are with us.
Sir,
and of course, Manik is there.
Next skilling with governance today would be green.
So green is a larger. Come.
I've forgotten half the faces of the CEOs of the sector. I've stopped looking.
And with that, we unveil the special edition magazine of Governance Today. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Manik, please, Manik. Ajit, you should be here. Ajit. Thank you.